But look, we do have Barnaby Joyce back, so we will go to him right now. Barnaby, thank you so much for joining us on the show this evening. Look, we've been talking tonight about this gold mine scandal. It really is getting worse and worse. You've now got the Environmental Protection Authority coming out and giving it the green light. What on earth is Tanya Plibersek doing here?
Well, it's secret business. It's secret business where we have no idea what's going on here. There's secret people saying secret things, and it sounds very much like the Hindmarsh Bridge issue, doesn't it? Remember the secret women's business where you could apparently see it if you're from the up in space, and then we relied on other Indigenous people to come along and say, this is all just a bucket of off jam. It's a load of rubbish. And now we have Aboriginal people who actually grew up as Aboriginal, identify as Aboriginal, lived an Aboriginal life, coming and saying, what on earth is going on here? I don't know these people. Who are you talking about? This secret business, bring it out. Let the light shine in. Let the light shine in, because we've got no idea what on earth you were talking about. And this has caused a major problem for the district. It's caused a major problem for jobs. It's caused a major problem for people who are going to invest in Australia. And for Australians themselves, they should realise, look what you got. This tie came from overseas. This watch came from overseas. Your television came from overseas. Your car, your fuel, the stove, that washing machine, you can't see it, I can. Bosch came from overseas. Westinghouse, you can't see it, I can. Came from overseas. Everything's come in from a boat, on a boat, from overseas. And somebody somewhere has got to be putting something on a boat and sending it in the other direction if you want to live with the standard of living you've got. And one of the things we send overseas is gold. And we were opening up a gold mine. And now, for some unknown reason, for the partisan issues of green politics in the inner suburbs of Sydney, the secret business has happened, and secret business has got nothing to do with Aboriginal issues. It's got everything to do with marginal seat issues and trying to deal with the Green vote and the Muslim vote. And what a terrible blight that is on not only Blaney, not only on the central west of New South Wales, but New South Wales and Australia. This is an absolute joke.
Yeah, well, Barnaby, we're not going to be able to export gold, and we're not going to be able to turn our lights on either if Chris Bowen continues the way he is. He's in Collie in southwest Western Australia today, warning against a small nuclear reactor being built in the area. And he's tweeted this. I wanted to read it to you and get your thoughts. He tweeted, it's been 74 days since Peter Dutton announced his risky nuclear reactor sites, and he still won't tell us how much they will cost the taxpayer, how long they'll take to get up and running, or how much energy they will generate. Now, Chris Bowen's been putting out these tweets almost on a daily basis. Has he got anything else to say, Barnaby?
Well, Chris, I'm startled. You want transparency. Chris, you have the capacity investment scheme, which you have been giving to all these multinationals, these billionaires, to build their swindle factories all over those hills, build their wind towers and fill up those fields, make them all photovoltaic black. But you won't tell us the details of these capital investment schemes, capital infrastructure schemes. They're secret, they're commercial in confidence. And you've actually got those numbers, Chris. You've actually got them. So how much is the taxpayer on the hook for here, Chris? So I've got no doubt whatsoever, no doubt, that Peter Dutton's going to come out with the costings. So you should actually, Chris, my good mate Chris, come up with the costings for the capital investment scheme. Let us all know how much you're paying these Chinese companies and Singaporean companies and Dutch companies and French companies to basically fill our life with intermittent power, which is forcing the price of power through the roof, forcing reliability through the floor, and sending our taxpayer, our money, overseas. And the worst thing, the person who can't pay for the power, humiliating them by making them poorer. This cult, this mad cult, ultimately, yourselves, the Fourth Estate, we have to start asking the serious questions. I would much rather have a nuclear power station in there than what you're going to do in absolutely prostituting our landscape with your swindle factories, your photovoltaic fields of black, transmission trash everywhere, going backwards and forth over our land for a product that doesn't work. You cannot run a full-time economy on part-time power, Chris.
Yeah, I like prostituting. There's a good word to describe it there. Barnaby, now look, we've got to ask you about this because, of course, you went head-to-head with Matt Keane at the Bush Summit last week over his push for renewable energy. I think we've got a bit of vision of that moment.
You're accelerating a disaster, not delaying a plan.
We're accelerating putting downward pressure on power bills, Barnaby. That's what we're trying to do.
They're not putting downward pressure on power bills. It's going through the roof. I mean, do you get a power bill? Have you ever looked at it?
More supply means lower power bills. We need more supply into the system. They're the facts, Barnaby.
That's a talking point you've been given.
It's not a talking point.
New one.
Barnaby, it's been a few days. Have you patched things up with Matt Keane?
Look, personally, I'm neither hot nor cold. I don't know the gentleman, but on his policy, I'm vehemently against. This is a person who inflicted us with the renewable energy zones. We got the reses. I noted there were no reses near his seat. I noted that. There was no reses off the coast of Manly or no reses off the coast of Bondi and no little res on Middlehead and no transmission lines going over Mossman. Now, there's nothing there, but all the rubbish gets dumped in our areas. And Matt, you felt like you were talking in, it was like you were talking in Braille to him. It was, Matt, the price of power is going through the roof. Our power is dearer than virtually every other country in the OECD. The other countries that are cheaper than ours, Matt, have nuclear power plants. And, Matt, they don't take 20 years to build. Stop saying they take 20 years to build. Finland's cheaper than us. France is cheaper than us. The UK's around about cheaper than us. The United States vastly cheaper than us. China's cheaper than us. All have nuclear power. Yet, somehow, what Matt always does, he goes, I've got a report from Australia, the CSR report and the EMO report, both from Australia, despite the fact Australia doesn't have nuclear power, and they say that Finland and France and Germany Germany uses France's nuclear power, it comes across the transmission lines, but all these countries are wrong, and the only person who's right is apparently Chris Bowen and Matt Keane. There go my two boys. They're the only ones in step.
Extraordinary.